Start with Mary. And I know you did touch on this briefly in your previous answer. What changes would you implement if elected?
So that's one of them, because I've talked to some of the special purpose districts and superintendents, and that's an area that I think the communication out there is an important piece, because that is part of the customer base. I know with the citizens, Rob and the office has been working hard on automating as much, and with the partial payments, it's going to be really interesting to see how that system comes into play. That'll just be starting the first of the year, and so that's going to take some time to figure out how all that's going to play. And so I don't know exactly, I'm sure whoever is elected, that's going to be something that there's going to be a lot of tweaking that's going to be going on and happening within the office. The other thing I really want to focus on is the investment pool and our rate of return. I think that's an important piece. I think it's important to the county and to the different special purpose districts that are part of that. And so that's something that I actually feel I really want to focus on.
Okay, actually, our rate of return is the second highest in the state for counties. And that's because we do have a CPA who's been in finance for 30 years, and he's totally dedicated to that. He invests in step-up callables, those agency bonds, Fannie and Freddie. It's about 60% of our portfolio. But we also keep about 20% in overnight money. That it kind of brings our whole average down, but still we're second highest in the state. So it's good to have someone who's been there that long, who's very conservative. Those are in a finance pool. Those are our three. It's almost $1 billion now. It's those three things: safety, liquidity, and then yield. So you got to meet dollar for dollar. If you got a budget that's say $150 million for the county, you have to make sure that that's safe, and that's the way you do it is through having the right recipe, the right amount of things that are maybe a little bit longer term and shorter term, and we have a weighted average of 2 years on that, which seems to fit us finally. There was one other county in the state that was actually ahead of us, and then he had an emergency, had to cash in some bonds at a loss, so he went out way too far. He went out 10 years, and then we limit ourselves to 5 years tops on that. And also, thinking about responsiveness, to the districts, we had a customer service rating out of 322 respondents, which also included district representatives, title companies, taxpayers, attorneys, of 95%, which I think was excellent for our people.
Well, I'm glad to hear you talk about safety, Rob, because frankly I was concerned when you introduced a bill to remove the safety restrictions from our investments and to speculate with our taxpayer money in gold and silver. I just don't think it's an appropriate, fiscally responsible policy to take our taxpayer money on the roller coaster of commodities. I think a much better use of our funding can be to make loans to local municipal entities where we keep the percentage, we keep the interest percent, rather than giving it to someplace like Bank of America, and instead we keep the money local and create jobs here.
All right, and we're going to go with one of our, well, actually,